We are talking how Dak Prescott must feel after the Trey Lance trade. Now, I think a lot of people are going to say, well, Dak's under pressure now, right? Dak sees the Cowboys do this, and now he's got to be freaking out. Now, I would like to say pump the brakes. Okay, I would like to say, hold on a minute, devil's advocate. Are we sure that Dak Prescott even sees Trey Lance as a threat? I would say no. Is Trey Lance the backup in Dallas? I would say no. What I think Trey Lance is I think Trey Lance is a practice tool to mimic the Jalen Hurts of the world. I would say Trey Lance is nothing more. Cooper Rush is the backup. Also, think about it like this, ladies and gentlemen. If Trey Lance could ball, if Trey Lance could play, do you think the 49ers would trade Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys, one of their biggest rivals? An NFC rival? James, that's not their rival. They've played him in the playoffs the last 2 years. Okay, look, you don't trade a quarterback to a team you've played in the playoffs the last 2 years if you think he can play and if you think he's going to play. Here's the fact of the matter. Trey Lance is a third-string quarterback in Dallas at best. Maybe not even. Dak Prescott should feel less pressure from Trey Lance than he feels about Cooper Rush. And I would assume he doesn't feel much. So I don't think Dak feels any pressure because of the Trey Lance trade.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Yeah. I understand he's got a no trade clause and all that stuff, but in all seriousness, because Dak is coming into a season, he has been in the league longer than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and we still have questions. I don't have questions. I think he's a very good quarterback, but in general, the real question.
I don't think he's very good at all. I have questions. I have a question. How did he almost lead the NFL in interceptions last year and he missed, 4 games? I have questions if Dak Prescott is the same quarterback after his injury or if he's just a worse version of Kirk Cousins. Is he just now a pocket quarterback who's going to throw 15 to 20 interceptions a year? I have a lot of questions about Dak Prescott. Is Dak Prescott good enough to lead the Cowboys to the NFC title game or Super Bowl? I think those are all very valid questions. I think is Dak Prescott's best days behind him?
With Dak is, can he be the guy? Can he be the guy to elevate his team in the big moments? We talk about this a lot, the big moments. So this season, a lot of high expectations.
Well, like Kimberly just said, Dak's been in the league for a long time. He's never been the guy to elevate his team in big moments. He's never been the guy to lead Dallas to playoff success. It's never happened. So those questions are valid.
For this team, especially in a down NFC conference. So I think there's a lot of questions surrounding that.
And part of the reasons why that has not occurred has been the quarterback position. Now, I believe personally that Dak Prescott is going to be better this season. In 12 games last year, he threw 15 interceptions, threw 2 in the playoffs as well that really hurt this team and allowed San Francisco to capitalize. And that was a 1-score game, right, that they lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs. So I think when it comes to Dak Prescott, ignore the noise, man. Just go out there, handle your business, and do what you have to do. And I said this yesterday.
Yeah, well, he ignored the noise and handled his business last year. And like you said, threw 15 interceptions through 12 games. So, I mean, is it the noise? Is it a noise situation? Is it a media situation? Or is it a Dak Prescott ability situation?
And everything else would take care of itself.
Booger, you laughed when Kimberly said what she said because it is actually a truth thing. We all are always playing for our jobs. But, there is also the reality of where Dak is contractually with Dallas and the decision they have to make. Trey Lance or no Trey Lance. So how do you see this playing out in Dallas for Dak?
Well, I've been listening to all the talk all week since the Trey Lance conversation and so many different layers. Let's start with Dak. By all accounts, Dak Prescott has had one bad year. It was last year. I think that's the anomaly, not the norm. Dak Prescott has been a pretty consistent quarterback. Has he come up short in the postseason? I'll give you that. But Dak Prescott has ascended each and every year, except last year, which I said was the anomaly. That's number one. Number two.
I think as far as Dallas goes, I think Dak is probably fine job-wise until Dallas has a true heir. I think Dallas, they could be, maybe not with McCarthy, but I think Dallas could be close to a new era, a new chapter, but they need that quarterback. Dallas is not a team that's going to ever rebuild. Dallas is not a team that's going to be bad. or they're not going to start the season like that. They're going to start the season always where they feel like they have a good quarterback or a good chance to win. There's one of those franchises. They're not going to be like Arizona where they just tank or something like that. So I don't think Dak, I think it's like a two-part question. I don't think Dak is the guy that's going to elevate the Cowboys to a Super Bowl, but I don't think the Cowboys aren't going to get rid of him without like the obvious heir apparent. And that isn't Trey Lance. Trey Lance, like I said, is not even the backup. So would it shock me if Dallas, like, I'm just going to make stuff up here, but would it shock me if Dallas traded for like Kyler Murray and decided to go with Kyler Murray over Dak? No, that wouldn't shock me at all. But it would shock me if Dallas moved on from Dak and went with the Cooper Rush Trey Lance combo.
Two, if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're going to move away from Dak Prescott, where exactly are you going?
Yeah.
Especially for a team that's ready to win now.
Yeah,
Jerry
exactly.
Jones has already come out and said, we want to extend Dak. We all know the cap number next year is going to be $59 million, and that's not going to be doable for the Dallas Cowboys. So I do think the Dallas Cowboys want to continue with Dak Prescott. I do think they are going to extend him. Whether it happens during this season, after the season, to me doesn't matter. Now, to the Trey Lance of it all, everybody's making a big deal about Jerry Jones going out trading a fourth-round pick for a developmental quarterback because that's all he is right now. I don't think anybody out there in their right mind is going to say that if Dak Prescott goes down or if Dak Prescott, something happens, he can't play next year, that you feel really good about Trey Lance being the quarterback of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I've said it when it happened. I'll say it again. Like Trey Lance, if Dak Prescott gets hurt in the first game, Cooper Rush will come into the game. Trey Lance is not the backup quarterback in Dallas.
That's not the case. So this Trey Lance situation is much to do about nothing. I know we want a big storyline. I know we want a big deal. But the Dallas Cowboys are Dak Prescott's team this year, and I think they're Dak Prescott's team going forward.
Agreed.
Now, Booger, again, logic is what you just brought to the table, and logic doesn't always fit when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So when it comes to the Trey Lance of it all, I agree with that part of it. I think that this is a player who they brought in, but if anything, if things go wrong for Dak, it's Cooper Rush that all the Dallas fans will be calling for, whether it's week 2, week 3, whatever it is. It's not going to be Trey Lance. But Jerry Jones did this for a reason. There is a contract decision to be made.
I think the reason, like I said, is practice. I think the reason is Jalen Hurts. That's it. I think it's pretty simple. I don't think Trey Lance, I don't think Jerry Jones got Trey Lance to compete with Dak. I don't think Jerry Jones got Trey Lance to be the Cowboys quarterback of the future. I don't think any of that stuff.
With Dak, is this just about applying more pressure to make sure he has, like, they know for sure this is our guy because he can handle the external and internal pressure?
Here's my question: do the Dallas Cowboys know that Dak is their guy?
Yeah, I think Dak's in the same situation that like Ben Roethlisberger was at the end in Pittsburgh, where he's there, he's the guy, there's not a better option, so we're going to play him until we have a better option. And that's it. There's no... Dak is the guy. Dak is the Cowboys guy. And like Booger said, I think they'll extend him, work on his contract. They're not going to pay him $59 million, whatever it is. That's just going to be how it is.
I think he should be their guy. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I extend Dak Prescott without question. But if the Dallas Cowboys have any doubt in their mind, if they are not sure, then don't bother. Then just do what the 49ers did and acknowledge, hey, you know what? We messed up there. This situation isn't working. We need to go in a different direction. I will say if Dak is not the QB next year, the Dallas Cowboys will be a lot worse because he is a very good quarterback, and the Dallas Cowboys will have a good team. They are not in line to get a high draft pick to get a quarterback. So I think they should believe that Dak is the guy. But I don't hear the Cowboys talk about Dak over the years the same way we hear the Bills gush about Josh Allen, deservedly so.
I mean, Dak is nowhere near those players. Like Dak is not very good. Dak is an average quarterback. So I think Dallas has an average quarterback. I do agree if they didn't have Dak, they would be worse. But I mean, I'm not totally sure what she's trying to say. You don't just saddle up with your average quarterback because you'd be worse without him. Like you do have to try and figure out, okay, what are we going to do? We're set up to win now. You know, we do have the pieces to win now. So do you go try and get a better quarterback? Do you go try and sign somebody? Do you try and make something happen? Or do you just hope that the rest of your team can elevate Dak? I mean, I don't think Dallas should do anything. I don't think Dallas can. But at the same time, like you can recognize, like, look, we have an average quarterback. That can be true at the same time as extending Dak. You know, like working on his contract or any of that. There's a lot of teams like that. A lot of teams probably look around and say, we're good. We can win now, but we have an average quarterback. Dak is going to have to obviously play better than last year if Dallas is going to win. But I mean, it's kind of the same with the 49ers. So the 49ers, I think, are built to win now, but they have an average quarterback. And they know that. So,
or the way the Bengals talk about Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or what, it just doesn't feel the same when you hear the comments from Jerry Jones.
I think that's the biggest thing for me, especially when Booger touched on it. If you move on from Dak Prescott with a team that is able to contend, how is it going to look?
Yeah, why would you move on?
Bring in? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the part in this whole ordeal. We're talking about a team that won 12 games the 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Even with his 15
and I agree with Book. Does Dak Prescott have to be better in the bigger moments? Yes, he does. But are you even going to be in that situation if you move on from Dak and you go to somebody else?
No.
I don't think this is even a conversation. Like, I don't think Dallas is even thinking about moving on from Dak Prescott. Unless they see something, unless they are like, we're going to make a move for blank player. I don't know. But I don't think this is a conversation at all. I think they believe Dak can get us to the playoffs. And if we're going into a playoff game with Dak Prescott, we feel fine. I think that's where they're at. Yeah, they're not talking about him like Josh Allen or Joe Burrow because he's not those players. But he's your guy. He's who you have. He has had regular season success, record-wise. So, yeah, I think Dallas is probably just like, okay, here we go. There isn't a conversation about, is it time to move on from Dak with no backup plan?
It's not a guarantee that quarterback that you bring in is going to hit.
Let me know in the conversations or in the comments below what you think. I mean, is there an opportunity to move on from Dak Prescott? Am I missing something? Is there a quarterback out there that Dallas could turn to? It's not Cooper Rush, it's not Trey Lance. But is there a reason to believe that Dak Prescott won't be a Cowboy within the next couple of years? I just don't know if I see it. I'm not sure if Jerry Jones is even entertaining that idea. I think Dak Prescott is a Cowboy. I think the Cowboys will go as far as Dak Prescott takes them, but Trey Lance certainly doesn't create any pressure or any. Trey Lance is not the answer in Dallas. I'll say that. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.